So tell me, what was it about this script that kind of made you sign on to it?
Well, I think it was a combination of fantasy with emotion. We all love these movies. You know, we saw movies when I was a kid. I saw movies like E.T. or The Never-Ending Story. More recently, Inside Out or The Iron Giant, movies that deal with fantasy and the complexities of childhood. And I just wanted to do one of those films.
Were there any technical difficulties that you had filming, or were you on a budget, constraints? Like, what was it? Were there any issues?
Yeah, it was quite challenging to put all the pieces together in this film. We deal with very complicated visual effects. We had a couple of animation scenes that were also very challenging. And at the same time, it's a very complex drama about a boy and his mother. And put all the pieces together, finding the right architecture and finding the tone, it was kind of tricky.
How did you know that Lewis was the young character for this role?
Well, it was obvious from the very first time I saw him that he was not just a great actor, but someone very special. I think that the heavyweight he's carrying on in the film is overwhelming. He's in every single scene. Every single scene is seen through his eyes, and the emotional journey is very complex.
It's pretty dense for a young actor.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, but it was obvious from the first moment I saw him that he was very special. The way he was portraying the scene was so different from the other kids that even though we had great kids in that audition, it was definitely Louis the favorite from the very first moment.
From the director's perspective, how did you go into it, and what perspective or framework did you want to have when you were portraying this film?
In what sense, sorry?
A framework, wide shots, what kind of angles did you want to work with?
I think because it's a movie that deals with fantasy and reality and the world of adults and kids. An image that you can see all the time during the film, it's the world seen through the eyes of Conor in a frame way. So you will see a lot of doors, a lot of windows, and you will see Conor all the time in one side, and at the other side you will find the adults, or you will find a monster. So we're separating using those frames the world that Conor needs to cross and become an adult at the end of the film.
At some point you said that when you were looking at Lewis, there was some similarities between him and the character where they were still trying to figure themselves out. Can you expound on that?
Well, it was the fact that in his first audition, he was bringing the character, instead of the most predictable emotional stuff that we were seeing in the other kids, he was more about rage. So he was showing me tears, but he was angry to show me those tears. He was reluctant to show that emotion.
How many takes of young boys crying did you have to go through just to?
Not that much, because we have different steps in the process. So we started watching a lot of self-tapes, and then I met them personally, and then we did a third test together, and there were some tears in there, and at the end we had like 5 kids, and we did a camera test with them. So not that many tears, but we saw some of them, yes.
And one question that I ask anybody of some level of importance: what is your advice for young directors or anyone that wants to be where you are today?
I think it's. If you want to dedicate yourself to do movies, you really need to like it, because it's such a tough world. For me, it's impossible to separate my life from movies. I think for me, everything is the same. So if you don't feel it like that, you shouldn't try it. But if you feel it like that, you should try it non-stop.